There's a chess opening, played by total beginners, by online streamers, and by actual world championship contenders, all using almost exactly the same handful of moves. It's called the London system, and it's got a much older, stranger history than most people realize. Today, where it came from, and everything you need to actually play it. Here's the first surprise. The London system wasn't invented in London, and it wasn't invented in 1922 either. Its earliest roots trace back to the 1880s, to an Irish-American master named James Mason. Mason played this setup: bishop out to f4, pawn supporting the center, natural, solid development, repeatedly through the 1880s, including at the strong 1882 Vienna tournament and later events in London and New York. For decades afterward, this opening was actually known as the Mason variation, named after the man who used it long before it had its more famous name. So where does London actually come from? In 1922, an extremely strong international tournament was held in London, and the opening showed up there again and again, 7 times, played by some of the very best players in the world at that moment, including Jose Raul Capablanca, Alexander Alekhine, and Akiba Rubinstein. That tournament is why the opening quietly picked up a new name. Interestingly, after that tournament, it actually became rare again in top-level chess for decades. The London system name stuck around long before the opening itself became genuinely popular. Around that same era, chess was going through what's called the hyper-modern movement. Players like Richard Reti and Ernst Grunfeld were challenging old assumptions, experimenting with strange, flexible opening ideas that broke a lot of classical rules. More traditional players wanted something dependable they could play against all of that experimentation without needing to prepare a different response to every new idea. The London system was exactly that. One reliable setup, playable against nearly anything black tries. For most of the 20th century, the London stayed a relatively minor, occasional choice. That changed dramatically in the last couple of decades. As chess engines got stronger and more accessible, players realized the London held up extremely well under computer analysis, despite being low maintenance to learn. Streamers and online coaches embraced it as the perfect low-theory opening to teach beginners. And it kept showing up at the very top too. Magnus Carlsen used it regularly in faster time controls, and in 2023, Ding Liren played it in a world championship game against Ian Nepomniachtchi, in a win that leveled their match score. A 100-year-old boring opening had become genuinely fashionable. So that's where it came from. Now let's actually build it, move by move. Move 1, pawn to d4, claiming central space. Move 2, bishop out to f4. Before it gets boxed in, this is the whole soul of the opening. Move 3, knight to f3, natural development. Move 4, pawn to e3, finally letting your other bishop out safely. Move 5, bishop to d3, or sometimes e2, depending on what black's doing. Then castle short, bring your other knight to d2, and often reinforce the center with c3. That's it. Same skeleton nearly every game, regardless of what black plays. One critical detail: that bishop has to get to f4 before you play e3. Play e3 first, and you accidentally trap your own bishop behind your own pawns. One of the most common mistakes in this opening, and honestly, in chess generally. Bishop out first, then close the door behind it. Once your pieces are developed, you're not memorizing more theory. You're following a plan. Your position is naturally solid, so start with that comfort. From there, depending on how black has set up, you'll often look to push your c-pawn or bring your queen to b3 or c2 to add pressure. And in plenty of lines, you get a real attacking idea, pushing your h-pawn and g-pawn forward to crack open lines toward black's king, especially if they've castled on that side. The real magic of the London, the reason it survived 140 years, got renamed, forgotten, and then rediscovered, is flexibility. Whether black mirrors you, fianchetto's a bishop, or plays something unusual, you're playing roughly the same 5 moves regardless. That's what makes it a system instead of a normal opening. Low maintenance and hard to catch off guard. To recap, born in the 1880s with James Mason, renamed after the 1922 London tournament, quietly out of fashion for decades, and then rediscovered by the engine era and streamers, all the way up to World Championship games in the 2020s. And the moves themselves: d4, bishop to f4, knight to f3, e3, bishop to d3, castle, knight to d2. That's the London system, history and all. Try it in your next game and let me know in the comments how it goes. If you want more openings explained this way, history included, subscribe for the next one.